Good evening. We are live. Hope everyone's good. Have you recovered from last Friday, Tom?
I'm still in stitches listening to some of those jokes. Yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun. Yeah, what you want for an anniversary, I suppose. Memorable. Good
absolutely.
and bad.
Well, yeah, it was a mixed bag. And I was thinking Saturday morning, we didn't really talk about reefing, did we? I think we talked about starfish, and after that was chocolate starfish, which may or may not be appropriate.
No,
that was
not.
about it.
That was good. I enjoyed it. It was good. It's a good laugh. I hope everybody else.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I got some nice messages from people and stuff like that. So thank you for everyone who joined us last week. We gave away loads of giveaways. I think they've all gone out. I've got one still to go out. That's because the person sent me an address without a number on it, and I've checked with them and they've come back. So that will go out early next week. And then someone was kind enough to actually it was Critical Reef because he won 2. He's given the NIOS test kits back. So that'll be one of the things yeah, absolutely. So thank you. I see you in the chat.
Yeah.
And someone didn't claim a gift either. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Parwise. So that isn't up for grabs. So there's we've got 2 or 3 things later on to give away. Cool. So we'll see. I am 2 of us. Stevie Boy can't make it. I think he's not going to be with us for 2 or 3 weeks. He's all okay, but he's got a few things he's got to sort out on a Friday night and that. So he won't be with us. And Jay is not with us this evening. I think it's his wife's birthday, if I remember rightly, Tom.
Yeah, it is.
So so he'll be catching up as usual. And if he really likes it, he'll retweet it or put something on Instagram taking the mickey out of us. So
I think she's took him to Gulliver's Kingdom.
I thought
sorry, 2 minutes in. I had to. He's in the ball pool as we speak.
he can't get out. He's on his back.
No, it's on his back. Can't get out.
He's had more it's not. I keep on saying WD-40. It's not WD-40 because that would make you unwell. It was a WK.
Probably end up falling out and she'll leave him on the teapots. Anyway, sorry.
Serious. Right. He'll dial in later on, won't he? Boys, I've come home early.
Yeah, with a little booty bag from a little kids' party.
He's got his pick and mix. He'll be happy.
Pick and mix, slice of cake. Yeah, that's the one.
Right. So the reefing stuff that we are going to discuss this evening, we're going to talk about pests. So we'll have a chat about that, do some giveaway, and talk about what's going on in our tanks. So right, let us have a look at who's around and what they're doing. So right, Tony Close is first in the house. Looking forward to it, Paul. Be great to see everyone. Hit the like button. Yeah, that'd be fantastic if you can. Russell Brooks. So we're going to have to miss tonight. Got a silly early flight in the morning. Wonder where he's off to. Hopefully he's going on holiday. You never know. Cottage Reef, Evening Reefers, 2nd week in a row. I'm not going to make it. Might be able to join later with a bit of luck. Techers Reef, good evening to you. Lee, hiya. Hope you're well.
Evening.
Marek of the P, good evening. Right, hiya Scott. So he's messing under the tank tonight. New kit installs. Oh, so what new kit you got, Scott? Interesting to see. We'll hear about it. Hi Haley, hope you're well. We've got John Boys in the house. Hiya John. So he's got 2 hyper grandkids to bed. Oh dear. I don't know if that means he's putting them to bed or he's put them to bed and now he can relax and put his feet up. I'm sure we'll find out.
The latter.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's just quite a lot of chat going on there. Rich, Matty, good evening to you. One Arm Reefer, hi, I hope you're well. What else we got? Chris Allen, good evening.
Evening, Chris.
6, if it clicks on it. That's bizarre. Oh, there we go. Good evening, 216. Hope you're well. I missed someone there. Hiya, UKM 120. Chris Allen, good evening all. And then we've got Gil's Aquarium. Thank you once again for the t-shirt. I know that's gone out to the lucky winner. So thank you for that. And yeah, PH is king. Do you pay him so you don't have to say it?
No, I don't. I don't. No, there's a secret club. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
The PH club.
PH club. Yeah,
well,
that's the one.
Have you got a funny handshake, or do you do?
We've got a secret handshake. Yeah, secret handshake and a nod. Yeah,
you know that kind of. I can't really do a H. Can you do a H? I don't know. Anyway, it's not the easiest thing to do a P or a H.
If you know, you know, Paul. It's just one of those.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. I don't know. Clearly. Hiya, Darren. How you doing? Good evening to you. Rigsy69 is listening at work. Good man. Sky Marine, good evening to you. Critical Reef, evening. All doing well. PH is king. It's not the same one? Is that a different one? Am I going mad and going back on the same ones? Apologies if I am.
No, different one.
Hiya, Haley. Good evening to you.
Evening.
Jupas Reef, evening, everyone. Good evening.
Evening.
Oh, here we go. Hi, Lee. Yes, mate. All good things. Chemically work to treat. Now the diatoms have come back with a vengeance. That happens quite often, doesn't it? You wipe something out, and there's a vacuum there, and that's taken up by something else.
You want to talk to me about diatoms?
Oh, we'll come back to that in a minute. Then I know you don't want to, but we'll come back to that.
Oh God.
Aqua of the Ian. Good evening. Black Pearl Reef. Good evening to you. Hiya, Joe. Hope you're good.
Evening, Joe.
Woody's in the house. Good evening to you. Alex Brooks. Good evening.
Evening, Al.
What's this? Jay wouldn't even get on the ride. He would be too busy haggling the price. Well, even before that, he'd be saying how many vouchers. You know, sometimes you get these little vouchers, don't you, or little tickets. Yeah. He'd be haggling over those for sure.
Definitely.
Oh, dear.
Definitely.
Liam, good evening to you. Where are we? Cole's in the house. It's Reef King this week.
Yeah.
Rather than the DJ. John's Reef UK. Good evening to you. And Doctor of Welsh Magic. Oh, liking that. Is that a Goniapora or is that Zoas in your logo?
Zoas and a confusion underneath by the looks of it. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Right, here's what Scott's saying. New verses for the modern reef are one of the new self-cleaning roller skimmers by Smarter Reefs. I've WhatsApped you. Thank you. I'll have a look at that. Scott. Nice. Yeah, I've seen those, the skimmers that have the roller mats. In fact, there was quite a few people on Instagram that had them. I'm assuming they got them free. That was about 6-9 months ago. It was a little while ago. I've got to say I haven't seen many since. So whether obviously they're still going because Scott's one. So it'd be good to see what your first impressions are, Scott, on that one.
Definitely.
Yeah. What else have we got? Darren. Right, we've gone for everyone. So thank you for that. And my week's been spent doing that, I must admit. I've spent a lot of time this week answering calls. There's quite a few people that I've contacted in the chat. Quite a few people have bought tickets. So thank you very much. I've got to say, Tom, it is so time consuming. It's the bit that I hate, which is selling the tickets, because I've sent probably about 120 messages this week.
Wow.
To all people, and because of data privacy, I don't keep a record of all the names.
Yeah.
But I've got all the messages that I've got on WhatsApp, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. So I go through them all, and I'm just going through a lot of the people at the moment, just reaching out to say, do you want to come to this year's show? Blah, 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 blah. So I haven't got through all of them yet. But
that's why you've been quiet in the group chat then.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's no YouTube videos at all because I've got no chance of doing that. And all I'm doing is this at the moment. And I placed this evening, I've done my first ad on Facebook. So I thought I'd spend a small amount of money to place an ad on there to see if people that I know. Because when you've got groups and stuff like that, you can only post so much. Some groups decline and say you can't do it, which really annoys me. But there we go. Some are pretty good, but you can't keep on posting on groups, so you got to find a different way, which I mean this is the first time I did it. So the last 2 years the numbers that we've had to sell tickets have been quite low, so I've been able to do it just through word of mouth and stuff like that. But
You want people to share it, don't you, as well? Ideally,
yeah, absolutely. So if you see it and you can share it, so yeah, so that's what I've been doing. So I'm not too sure what my expectations were after 1 week, but I'm okay with where we are. It's just a grind, and I mean that in a nice way. It's just rinse, repeat all the time.
Yeah.
So we will see. I'll put a sticker on the cab. Oh yeah, you got stickers from the first year, Reef King, so you could do that, couldn't you? But there we go. Right, let's stop that banner because I can't have that going all night. Do my head in. There we go. Right. So there we go. There's back to the comments. Right. So tell us about diatoms then.
I've had lots of them.
Well, that's a short conversation.
I've had it for. I dropped a bit of a clanger because obviously when I was running the tank with fish only for what 4 months, 5 months. I only had the lights on at like 30%. Yeah. And I had the battle that I had with the phosphate, as you know, coming out the rock. Obviously, man-made rock. Got over that. Started dosing the Zeo for carbon dosing for get my bacteria load right. And got some frags, and then like an absolute plank, cranked up the lights to 80-70% or whatever it was. And then within like 3 or 4 days, just started to get dinos everywhere. And I've been fighting it for about 3 weeks. But yeah, I think we're almost there. But touch wood, I hope I am, because this is when having a really big tank is not fun.
Yeah.
I changed the pre-filters on the RO filter in the garage. It was coming out at 5. Not the end of the world. I've had it worse than that, and I've not had this before. So changed those back down to 0. Fortunately, I have to change the resin, because for me to change the resin, it's a full sack, which is about £100 a go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've got a 25 litre DI resin sort of chamber. Sort of sits about a metre tall in the garage. So yeah, it takes a full sack. So I'm quite relieved I didn't have to do that. And membranes aren't cheap either, because I run 3 at a time. So yeah, the cheapest option was the pre-filters, and fortunately they did the job. But I don't think it's that. I think it, like I say, I think it's probably been there all along, or they've been there just waiting all along until I crank the lights up because of the gravel and the rock. But you heard it here. I will never put man-made rock in a tank again, no matter how designer it might look. It's been an absolute nightmare. I stick to live rock every day of the week if I could.
I think most of us would. The only thing, I mean, live rock obviously is really good, and you know those issues. It's then when you've got to make the scape. How do you make the scape without killing the bacteria on there and everything else? It's that balance, isn't it? And how you do it, because making the rock underwater would be an absolute nightmare.
It is.
Yeah, anything.
But I think again, you know, I'm sat here with I bought this escape and it was nice and it looks nice, but when everything's grown out, you're not going to see it. So what does it really matter?
It doesn't. You just need some ledges. If you look at it, you just need ledges, don't you?
Yeah, you need ledges. You need room for your fish and flow, obviously, as we talk about, and all those other caveats. But it's not anything you can't create with live rock, is all I'm saying. Yeah. Or seeded rock, and I don't mean live rock from my shop. I mean just live rock out of a mature system.
Yes.
So, anyway,
absolutely.
I'm fighting.
There's a couple of comments there about copepods, but I mean, copepods obviously work, but you'd have to have.
I'd have to have a few thousand. Yeah, I keep putting him in every now and again for my mandarin, but yeah, we'll see.
Serif snails love diatoms.
I know my Ras loves snails, Ailey, I'm afraid, because otherwise it'd be full of snails. So that's why I went for tuxedos. Yeah, but they're doing all right. To be fair, the tuxedos, they're doing a good job of it. Again, it's just the mass, it's just the amount. It's just like I always say, it's like dialing it in. You know, how much is enough and how much is how much is not enough, should I say, in terms of clean-up crew. But yeah, my Corris Ras just absolutely, no, snails are not happening, and neither are hermit crabs. And I've had her since an infant, so I'm not getting rid of her. So I have to find another way.
It's all about compromise, isn't it? Because things like if you have peppermint shrimps, which we'll get onto later on, you can't necessarily have Ras. Sometimes they mix. I've had a tank where it's been fine, but the tank in the garage, I can't. If I put a pep in, the the peacock wrasse will just have a delicacy. It's a bloody expensive delicacy, to be fair.
Oh God, just a bit, just a bit.
And then I was going to talk about DI resin, because if my TDS goes above, I just change the DI resin. But then I've got a small chamber and a pot that costs 35 quid. So it's cheaper for me to change the DI resin than it is to change the 2 filters, because I think the DI resin is about 39 quid for a 5 litre tub, and that lasts me ages. And then I changed the filters the other day.
That's expensive.
Is that?
That's
it lasts
expensive.
Me ages. It probably is.
Well, it's not. If you've got, it depends on your tank. It depends on your usage.
I don't use that much. That will last me 6 months, maybe more than 6 months. And I mean, I've got really hard water, because the TDS comes out at about.
You get a sack of Tolston resin, and it's about £110 off Amazon, and that's 25 kg.
Yeah, but I don't need that much. I've got 5 litres, which is 5.
If there's ever a couple of people that know each other, that chip in together, it works out a lot cheaper. But yeah, pre-filters first, and then if I really have to, resin. But yeah, membranes. I mean, I've run 3, and I think they're 30 quid each or whatever they are to replace. They're not. Again, it's not cheap, is it? You know, you've got to keep an eye on it.
It all adds up. So I usually find if I change my DI resin, that takes it back to 0. And then I change my filters probably every about 2 or 3 months, because my RO unit sits in the garden. It stays all unless it's frost or snow, in which case it goes into the shed. It stays in the garden all year round. Just has a poly box on the top of it, and it seems to work okay. But what I do find is the filters at the bottom get a bit of green algae on them. So as soon as it goes about a little bit green, I change them. And that takes about 2 or 3 months.
One of the things that's worth getting, so you know where you need to spend your money in terms of changing things, is I can't remember what they're called now. Little round disc, and it's a TDS. It's a TDS probe, and you can. It's an inline one, so you've got 2 probes. They're not expensive. They're about £30, £30-40. You can get them off any. Well, not many LFSs. They tend to be online. LFSs that do online shops, but you can get them in the Charterhouse. Do them. I'm sure I bought mine from there. It's like a little round disc, LED screen, 2 probes, 2 pieces of like a T section almost for your RO pipe, and you can have one after your pre-filters and then after your membrane, so you know which one you need to replace, if I'm making sense, rather than just straight going to your resin all the time. Yeah,
so I've got. So before actually, I'm sure it's at the stage before, because it's about 250 or 300. I can't remember. That's how I know it's really high. And then right at the very end where it comes out. So I've just got, I suppose, the beginning and then the end. But yeah, that's right. I could have another one that goes at a different stage. But I tend to find I change the resin.
It's just good to know which one actually needs replacing, because pre-filters can, well, from my experience, are a lot cheaper to replace than the membranes and resins. So if it's your pre-filters, it'll tell you, and you just, like I say, it doesn't cost you as much. Worth having anyway.
That's a fair comment. Right, let's have a look to see. So you think you're at the
no, don't say it.
We'll see.
We'll see. I've turned my lights down a little bit, but yeah, it is what it is.
It's a natural part of it, isn't it? When you look at it, we all get diatoms, and it's just different stages. And some people get it a lot earlier because they're lights. It's a tough one to know.
I've used my turkey baster more. Jay will be happy to hear this more this last 2 weeks than I think I ever have. Never mind basting a turkey or a chicken or whatever. It's just constantly blowing it off. It's ridiculous, and because you've just got to get it suspended. I mean, to be fair to Liam, he made a good suggestion about putting an air stone in the like bubble scrubbing, putting an air stone in the return chamber. But I've not needed to do that, to be fair. I've managed to keep on top of it. I've gone through so much filter floss though. I think I've gone through 5 meters the last couple of days, just constantly changing it. Yeah, because I've had to find, like, at first I was being really aggressive with it, because I've got like an handy toothbrush, like literally just gone through loads of them this last couple of days, brushing it off.
Don't worry about your teeth, as long as your tank's all right.
Yeah, but if you blow too much up, it seems to sort of reattach itself. You have to sort of find, and it sounds silly, you have to find like a bit of a balance between lifting a little bit off so it can go down through your water column into your sump, and you can get rid of it without doing too much. Because if you do too much and you baste it and you've got everything floating around, it just reattaches itself on rock and sand, gravel and whatever. So you're just constantly chasing your tail. So I found that doing it in stages, after that's down. So I turkey basting it, letting it float around for half an hour, changing the filter floss when it's filled up. Doing it like that seems to get on top of it, as opposed to just going bull in a china shop, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. So for whatever reason, if you've got too much in the water column, it doesn't take it out. It's actually slows it down, so then it attaches to the rock, I suppose, because it's blowing around more as opposed to pulling it out, I suppose.
Well, my clam's happy, which I'm really happy about. If you can see, she's really happy at the minute.
That's a big old thing, that is, isn't it? Wow,
it is.
Nice. I never kept clams. I would like to one day. There we go. Right, let's have a look to see what other comments we've got here. Lee, yeah. So Lee reached out to me. I can't remember if it was last week, and said he sent me a couple of photos that he might have dinos. It was difficult to tell, so I said if he sends a sample through to me, then I'll put it on the microscope, and then I can just take a photo of it, send it back, and then see what it is. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell anyway, let alone with photos. Right. So yeah, send it for remind me, Lee, on Instagram, and then I'll give you my address and you can send it through to me. Right, let's go see what else we've got. Yeah, cycle cook the rock first, maybe, Tom.
Yeah,
which always
definitely
helps, isn't it? This hobby is like a drug. Absolutely. Yeah, you do get addicted to it, and you end up with a 1,400 litre tank.
Yeah. Honestly, today I wish I'd stuck with my old Red Sea, to be honest with you. I've been at it since 10 o'clock this morning, and I've only sat down at 10 to before the live stream. Yeah.
Wow. Will the chorus eat conches? Darren says.
Don't know, but she even had a go. I even had a go at a toothbrush the other day, so I don't know. She's going to that. I won't say it's just monetized, but she's going through that. Choose my words carefully. TWAT stage of wrasses, where they can get quite aggressive, even when you start putting your hands in the tank. So I don't know. I could try. To be fair, she's not bothered about the urchins or the clam. But I mean, I have got. To be fair, I have got 2 or 3 snails. But the problem is with the snails is that if you turkey basted them, I know that she's going to eat them, and because I've seen her eat them. But if you turkey basted the rock and you blow a snail off, she's literally straight over your shoulder, and she's literally attacking it. So you've got to, be careful where you place them. Make sure they're always on the rock, because if they fall off, they're dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleanup crew bought a blood red shrimp. It hid behind the heater, and 2 years later I found it's remained stuck to the wave maker intake grill. Is this just bad luck, or is this fairly common? So for me, I've only had 2 before, and they've both lasted a couple of years.
Yeah,
blood shrimp. I know Jay had 1 or 2. They lasted quite a while. I don't know what your experience is of those, Tom.
Cleaner shrimps more than blood red shrimps. From I've had more cleaner shrimps than any other type of shrimp. I think that's just because I don't know. It's just what the LFS just had at the time. I think the only thing in the early days was when they shed skin. I was running through the house thinking it had died when it had not. When it was stuck to a power head. Yeah, you find it's stuck to the power head in the morning, and it's not just that it shed its skin, but But again, the other thing I'd say with inverts like that is temperature and salinity. Don't be shocking them, So they can be a little bit delicate. Let's just say.
Yeah, it could have been. So I know they have to be from an acclimatization perspective.
Yeah, they're not as hardy as fish or snails, are they? Shrimps.
Yeah,
they can be a little bit delicate, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Experience.
That is true. Korean bad luck, I think. Had blood shrimp survived for many years. It's definitely not a shed. It's definitely not a shed. That's true. See, it cleans the fish too. Occasionally seen cleaning a tang or two. And then Cole saying, Tom, it's your rock, mate. It's man-made. Will take longer to get rid of diatoms.
I know. That's why it nearly went out the window, Carl. Yeah, dear.
Scared of tank looking, but can't see anything. But I suppose it's possible. Yeah, red shrimps. Most of the red shrimps I've had very rarely come out during the day. The only time I've seen them really out and about, right, is if they're hanging upside down in coves or under ledges and stuff like that. But in the main, they seem to, feeding, they come out. And like same with peppermint shrimps. I find, because I've got a peppermint shrimp on the I've got the floating aquascape. It just hangs out upside down, so you see it all the time, but it's in the shade. But of course, as soon as it's feeding time, all bets are off and they're out.
Yeah.
But just turn the lights down a bit, which I think you said you've done already. There we go. Jarek, I have one probe after pre-filters and the other after DI resin. TDS after RO is
That's
3,
what I'm talking about.
And after DI it's 0. Yeah. I suppose I could move. I can't remember. I think it came like it. I mean, nowadays when you buy RO, you have to put it all together. This one was pretty much complete. But you could put it anywhere in the pipe block, I suppose, really, couldn't you?
Yeah, they're easy to fit. They're easy to fit. Yeah.
There we go. Tom, so go on.
And they're magnetic as well, which is quite good. So you can have the screen stuck to your RO housing.
Yes.
Which helps.
Yeah.
Anyway, little extra detail for you. My copper band. No, Clive is not bothered, John. Believe it or not. Yeah, you would not believe what fish behind me is actually more bothered about the clam than any other. Well, it's not a chromis, I'll tell you that, but you just won't have you won't guess.
Right. What else have we got? So go on.
Well, I was going to tell you.
Oh, so go on then. You paused. I thought you were going to leave us in suspense. Go on then.
No, I was saying you won't guess what it is. It's the sail fin.
Is that unusual?
I don't know. I've this first clam I've had, to be fair, but out of all the fish with the behaviours, fox faces having a bit of LPS maybe, and like I say, copper band, wrasse. Yeah, it's the sailfin that's actually nipped it a couple of times. But I mean, the other tangs had eaten algae off it, and the wrasse just does go around and sort of patrol it, see if there's anything that she wants to eat on it. But other than that, it's the sailfin that's the one that's been caught red-handed a couple of times. Fortunately, the clam's not bothered. So
it's not a case of it's having algae. You think it's actually having a little nip at the flesh.
It's tore the mantle, in a couple of spots. Yeah.
So that's one to watch, I suppose. But it's quite large, isn't it? So it's probably, if it's a small one, it could rip.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's not bothered. It's not bothered in slightest. No.
Okay.
No, I'm really relieved that Clive the copper band's not interested. Yeah, he's too busy swimming around looking at himself in the reflection. A bit like Jay would probably. Let's call it Jay, to be honest with you.
Change its name to Jay.
Change its name, Jay.
And get a mirror and it'll stand and put
exactly.
Lipstick on, fake tan, it's away.
That's it.
Oh, dearie me. There's a good comment here. Check on hours after lights, Ian. They come out and look for food. Yeah. There we go. Fauna Marin Ultra Phos is great at removing silicates, which diatoms feed off.
I've got the Serra. I'm running the Serra. Serra silicate remover. One thing that I realised was that I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a white sort of gravel. You have to rinse it in RO. That's a silicate absorber. And I ran that in the tank when I first wet it. Yeah. For this 4 silicates. But it only lasts 3 months. I didn't realise that. And then it exhausts it. And you can't regenerate it. You've got to throw it away and start again.
Yeah.
So September, it went, middle of September, October, November, December. So I've been running it without. And I should have replaced it probably last month. So I've replaced it now.
Yeah.
Bit of a coincidence. Like I say, I know the RO's all right, the water's all right, but yeah, it's definitely there's a possibility it absorbed the absorber absorbs so much, but not at all. Is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get at. Just chew me words, but yeah. So now I've replaced it.
It might just take time because these things don't tend to. Well, some things do rip out straight away. You know, Roaphos is overly keen at ripping out phosphate, isn't it? If you put too much in there, whether this, do you have to put a certain amount in depending on the size of the tank? I'm assuming you.
Well, it's one box, and I guess this is when it gets a bit expensive because one box is about £16, £17, and one box does 200 to 400 litres. So I've got me 3 boxes. Yeah. This is what I mean. Every 3 months.
It adds up, doesn't it? It's just
it's just getting ridiculous. Just getting ridiculous. Yeah.
It's scale. I
probably should have put 4 in, but again, I just thought I'm paying 60
quid. You take it.
Yeah, exactly. £120 to get rid of some silicates. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. So, yeah.
And here I am dosing silicates.
I know.
To trigger diatoms.
Yeah. I'll send you some of my water. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's what I mean. It's like it swings and roundabouts, pros and cons of having a small tank, big tank, you know.
Yeah.
Man-made rock, live rock, as we've talked about many times now.
Yeah, and that's what I think some of the causes of the problems I've had is the dead rock and dead sand and not doing what I should have done in the early stages and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. So you you live and learn, don't you? You live and learn. Right, let's see what else we have got before we move on to something else. Was it actual shrimp or exoskeleton? It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Reefing is a drug. I'm going for a remortgaging. I've got to explain love to reef writer and prestige reef on my statements. And my house glows blue every night.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one. Brilliant. My flame hawk's a bit of a nightmare with cleanup crew. Yeah, you do get things from time to time, don't you? Take a liking to them. What we've got here. Luckily, as for pets, Aptasia dealt with vermitage snails using bumblebee snails. Bee dudes, also reef dudes, I'm assuming that is also recommend calcium carbonate multiple dosing video worth a watch.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that in a little while, but yeah. Said goodbye to the cleaner shrimp and then realised it had shredded. Nice surprise.
Yeah, memories. The worst one was when I had my pink spot goby that I used to have. We had him for years, and you know when they clean the fish into its mouth, and was thinking it's trying to eat the shrimp, putting arm in tank, trying to shoo it away. And all it was trying to do was its job because it obviously wanted to do something to the fish. But anyway,
yeah.
You had to be there. Sorry.
That's fine. So I'm just looking at the comment. Sorry. Add some polyfilter. I always keep a spare polyfilter.
Yeah.
Just in case I have a problem and I have to pull some stuff out because they are pretty good at doing it, but they're not cheap either. So that's probably not gonna help you, I would say. Right. Let's move on to pests because there's a few comments on here. So good question. Would you consider bristleworms as a pest?
I think if they were overpopulated, they also work as a form of cleanup crew. To be fair.
Yeah, I find they do, and I find they overpopulate if you've got too much crud.
Yeah. In
your tank, and they kind of self-regulate because as you take the crud out of your tank, they seem to disappear. So I've always thought I've considered them free cleanup crew to a point, but then quite often you don't see them. And then when I did the big tank, nothing compared to yours, the 450 litre, whereas I had quite a lot of rockscape and it was against the back, you get crud behind the back. So sometimes at night you'd shine the light and there was just loads of them there. And I must admit, I just left them to their own devices. I didn't notice them. Not that you would notice them because it's at night. I didn't notice them eating anything. And I mean, maybe whether they feed on the corals, I never heard any stories that they do, but not to say they don't. If there's enough food for them, which you wanted to do, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing about bristleworms is feeling them on your finger.
Yeah, that's when they are a pest, don't they? But what I tend to do, if that happens, and it does happen from time to time, sellotape. So I put sellotape, wrap my finger in sellotape, and that tends to get them out. But it's a bit of a shock, isn't it, when you all of a sudden think, oh no, it's a bristleworm, and you realise what you've done. I mean, there's worse things than that, to be fair.
Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, what other pests have you encountered over the years, then, Tom?
God, I'm not bragging, but pretty much most of them, to be honest with you. Worst one for me was flatworm in the garage, which caused me to sort of nearly throw the towel in with Dobby a couple of years ago. That was just ridiculous.
So was that what kind of? Because you get different types of ones. Then was it the acro?
Acro eating flatworm. I've had red bugs in my 8-footer. That was something I'd never experienced before, and I hope I never do again. And I won't wish it on my worst enemy. But, that was horrible. And yeah, you nudies like you have on monties. You know, there's a few tricks with monties with nudies though. To be fair, I find nudies are a little bit easier to deal with as opposed to flatworm. No, but which obviously we'll get onto. But yeah, I've had my fair share, and I'm not proud of it. Don't feel like I'm at an STD clinic, but I've had my fair share of. I've had my fair share of unwanted, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
let's call it pests.
Let's call it keep it clean. Sorry, pests. Yeah. No, I've you know, nudies, flatworm, red bugs. I've never had black bugs. Well, it could have been black bugs, but I believe it was at the time it was red bugs. You know, aptasias we all get. Yeah, pretty much. You know, run of the mill. To be honest with you.
We've got a comment from there. So I've had flatworm, but they're not the ones that acros or anything like that. We're coming to my So something like this, Monty eating. How would you get rid of those kind of ones? Because Haley said about a 6-line wrasse. And
definitely wrasses. Definitely wrasses. I think this is probably a little bit of a topical statement for me to make, but somebody years and years ago recommended that if you can put in the Montipora confuser into your tank if you like that coral, and if you put it in a tank in a way that you can remove it. So what I mean is don't let it sort of base out. So this is more of I'm talking more of from a frag tank point of view. Sorry, probably not to somebody else's reef tank.
So you put a piece in so you can easily get it out.
Put a piece in so you can easily get it out. Thank you. That's kind of what I was trying to. Sorry, that was what I was trying to say.
Sense.
The reason behind it, and I don't know, I can't say whether this is scientifically true or not, but I have experienced it working, is that the mucus, the saliva that it gives off, the confuser, compared to a Montipora cap, because obviously a Montipora cap's, it's different sort of different growth pattern. The mucus that it gives off is a lot more attractive to nudies than it is on a Montipora cap. So the theory is that if you've got a piece of confuser in your tank, you will have, and you've got nudies, you will have nudies on the confuser. So if you don't,
you can take it out.
So you can take it out. So it's a good way of controlling the numbers as well as having wrasses. But also, if you're thinking you may have them or you may not, and you're a piece of confusion, you don't have them, the chances is that you don't have them. Again, I can't say that this has scientifically proven, but from experience, it has worked, and it's a good way of helping you to export them and keep the numbers under control.
So they're more attracted to that. You whip it out, clean them up, put it back in, rinse, repeat,
and then just keep doing it. So you're pulling the numbers down, if that makes sense, because they go to that. That's their preferred McDonald's or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what about acro eating flatworms? Because again, touch wood, I've never had those before.
Bases on corals for a start. If you're buying a coral from a shop or from wherever it's coming from, take the base off. You've got to, because it's the eggs that that are gonna live through your dipping process. And I've fallen foul to that, a couple of times in the hobby. So definitely. It's
hard to, if you get a frag and where it's based out, it's really hard to think, no, should I snip the base off? Because obviously you're going to lose the base of the coral as well as the frag base, and it's going to be underneath where they're going to be. But okay, you lose out a little bit on it basing out, but in reality, give it 3, 6, 9, even 3 weeks. You put it in, you probably won't think about it, and you'll thank yourself for not bringing that kind of pest in, won't you?
Yeah, I think again, I'm going to sound like this is a bit topical conversation, but I think when I get on my soapbox too much tonight, but I think for me, I've imported corals and I've bought corals and I still buy corals now, and there's a lot of work that goes into importing corals. But what I think a lot of hobbyists need to remember, me still classing myself as a hobbyist, is that all these importers, it's a business to them. And I don't want to sound too negative here, but for me, let me think about this today, knowing that we're talking about this. This isn't me blaming or pointing fingers, but for me, I think the hobby needs to change significantly, or should I say, the importing, the way that corals are brought into the country needs to be changed significantly, because the hobbyist is the one holding the baby at the end of the day. And what I mean by that is, you've got boxes of corals that come in that are, well, we know that, I'm not going to name people, but some suppliers put antibiotics in them, killing good bacteria, it's killing bad bacteria. They go on a plane, however many hours a day, 24, 48 hours, whatever it is, go to an airport handled, go to another location, warehouse, taken out, put in another system, dipped again, stressed again. Price list goes to a shop. We've got this, we've got that, we've got the other. How many do you want? They say, we want this. And that's not if they ship directly. And I know that some people ship directly. Yeah. They'll send a price list out. We've got this. Right, bag them up, send them to a shop unbags them, dips them again, stressed again, into the water, different water again, stressed again. And then you walk in on a Saturday afternoon with your hard-earned money, buy it again, take it home, stressed again, dip it again, put it in your water, dead. Now, I'm not saying I've sat here tonight and I've got the idea, I've got the ideal sort of scenario, but the point I'm making is that a lot of hobbyists who spend, me included, we all spend hard-earned money on this hobby. I just think that should corals be treated differently or any different in terms of quarantine than sometimes the fish? Or even if you went out and bought a dog or a cat or whatever, as an analogy goes, is it any different? It's still an animal. I just think that the people that end up losing, and I know that shops obviously have got overheads to pay to cover. I've said this before. I've got a business. I know how it works, but I just think the hobbyist, like I said earlier, can be the one that's left holding the baby. And I just think sometimes there's some things that further up the food chain, it could be controlled better, and I think that needs looking at.
I think it depends on the shop.
Yeah, I'm not saying every shop does it the same way. I'm just using an example.
But some will do that, and that will happen. There's a lot more frags that I suppose are in coral farms and stuff like that in the UK, so they are settled, based out. So you got a much better chance, haven't you, with that? So I think it's always worth asking what's the source of that coral to find out. And if it's a small frag, unless it's been chopped, it's probably not been imported. I say probably, not 100% sure on that, but usually fine. I can only go from where I go, which is AAC, and he's got a whole tray, which are the ones that are imported, and they're separate and they're rested and everything else, and you can see they've been there for a while because they're coloured up. So I think you're right. So I think it's like anything about asking the fish what's happened to the fish, what have you treated with them, blah blah blah. And it's the same with the corals, to find out exactly what's that, because if they've been imported, they should have CITES. I'm not saying you should ask it, but at least you can see the source to understand where it's come from and where do they come from. So if it's TMC they come from, they've come from overseas, they're rested in TMC for however long, and then it's gone to an LFS. So you can see that's the chain. If they've been imported, then there's one less step in the chain, I suppose. And then it's a case of how long have they had those corals in their tray, because then that'll understand hopefully how long they've been rested. But I've never bought wild Well, I have bought wild, but not crows or anything like that, because I think I'd end up killing them because they're difficult to look after.
I mean, the ideal scenario is everybody has a quarantine tank, but we can't afford that. We haven't got the room, the money, the space, you know,
or the inclination. I must admit,
So what I'm saying, the point I'm making here, really, sorry if to go off on a tangent, isn't that we shouldn't dip corals. Yes, we should dip corals, especially if you put them into your tank with other corals that we've all spent money on. The point I'm making is that at the point that you dip that coral, from where it's come from, how stressed is that animal at that moment compared to, I suppose, should it actually be that stressed? You know, it's like, and I've listened to a few podcasts recently, and it makes sense when you think about it logically. It's no different to us as human beings. If our immune system is low, you know, and we're run down, we've not been sleeping right, or we're fatigued, or whatever you want to call it, you know, then we are susceptible to catch, you know,
germs,
a bug or germs or bacteria, and it's no different with corals.
I agree. Absolutely. No, it makes perfect sense. But I think if anything that you buy from the LFS, you should ask questions of how long they've had it there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to witch on anybody or say.
I know you're not.
I'll say don't go to an LFS because they need you. You know, I'm all for LFSs. They need you. You know.
Yeah.
I just think that there are potentially some routes of bringing corals in and animals in, fish probably included, the whole shebang, that it needs looking at for me. Because like I keep saying, it's the hobbyist that ends up paying.
Yeah.
And the shops, I think, as well, to be fair.
Absolutely, because people won't go back there. But also, I can understand why they need it's a balance, isn't it? Because they need a turnaround because they've got working capital tied up there. And that's why one of the reasons probably why fish don't get quarantined as much as they could do is because they're holding on to them. They've got risk of them, you know, it takes up space and time and money and everything else. So they want to turn it around. Any shop, regardless of the industry, want to turn their stock over as quick as possible because it's a business, isn't it? And they've got to cover their costs. But no, it's a fair point. Right, let's have a look at some more comments there. So, John, put my harlequin shrimp in my sump a few weeks ago, full of aptasia, and it's all gone now. Any ideas? You got to say the harlequin shrimp, but harlequin shrimps don't tend to eat aptasia, so I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the answer to that one?
No clue.
No, no idea.
Unless you've got a couple of ghost pistol shrimps in there, maybe. Oh,
maybe
peppermint shrimps. Sorry, peppermint shrimps.
Yeah, so it's the aptasia that's gone, not the astraenas. Don't know, John, is the answer to that one. Because I thought they just had the starfish, don't they, that they eat?
Yeah.
There's a question here. Would you put flatworm X or similar in your tank for the normal brown red? So yes. So I had a massive outbreak of the planara, I think it is, which is the red rusty ones, which are those ones. And I thought it was something else. And I was, because you're supposed to, you can kind of get a tube and you can suck them out, but there was just too many of them. So I used a flatworm RX, and it worked really, really well. But you have to be really careful because once those flatworms die, they release toxin, which can nuke the tank. So you have to be really careful. So on the day, I had loads of buckets of water, salt water handy. I followed the instructions. I took out as much as possible. And then when you actually dose it, you can actually see them dying and they begin to float around. So you're then trying to suck them out and everything else. And then I can't remember how long you then wait before you do a big water change. So I did a big water change, and it got rid of, I had to do it a couple of times. It got rid of most of them, didn't get rid of all of them. I think because my theory was it doesn't always kill the eggs.
Yeah.
So if you've got on that cycle, it will kill those that are alive. The eggs are there, so it won't kill the eggs. So that's when I put in 8 Springer damsels and I put in some wrasse. And after I'd had those in there for 3 or 4 months, didn't see them again. Doesn't mean they weren't there, but a combination of the damsels and the wrasse just took took care of it. But it's one of those things where it just blew up, exploded in a 2 or 3 week period. I saw 2 or 3, didn't really take much notice of it, and just went bang, which I think they then blow up because your nutrients, if your nutrients are a bit higher, that feeds them and everything else. So the answer is yes, you can use it. I think, whether it's Chemiclean or Flatworm X or something like that, you just have to follow the instructions in terms of the dosage to make sure you don't overdose, and just have loads of salt water. Most of those things recommend you turn off your skimmer and that you have to do a water change. So I don't know what your experience is.
Sure. What I was going to say on that was that I watched a video ages ago, and it was BRS that did one, and it was on it was either Flatworm Stop or is that RX? Is that the fauna marin one? Is that
is it Salifert?
No, it's the Salifert. Right. Well, fauna marin do one. The fauna marin do a flatworm product, and so do obviously KZ. And what the BRS, what Ryan off BRS was saying was that it's a good practice. Again, this depends on the size of your tank and the size of your wallet, I suppose, to an extent, or your budget. But it's good practice to dose it even if you haven't got flatworm. Was what they were saying as a prevention. So
I know about the KZ one because it's supposed to. I think the KZ one, from what I read, and I haven't used it, is you put it in there and it helps the tissue to become stronger and to fight it off.
Stronger and build to fight it off.
It doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't put them off. It doesn't kill them off. No,
but it strengthens the coral.
It strengthens the coral. Yeah, and gives you more of a fighting chance against it.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully, Jim, that has helped you on that one. Let's have a look to see what else we've got here. Looked in the tank at night of UV torch of small white teardrop shaped critters. Anyone know? I haven't got a clue. I don't know if Tom, you've come across that. About 20 on one rock. Don't know. I'd say get a picture. Get a pic. Yeah, absolutely. I can try flatworm, maybe, possibly.
Teardrop.
And they're visible. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Without a picture, I'm sorry, I'm a bit puzzled.
Well, 2 millimeter long. Yeah, it's like give us a clue. But you haven't got the clue. They're lovely to watch. That's okay. I'm going to munch on things. I've gone off March's comment saying dips won't kill acro pets. Bugs, so no point dipping them. I think some things they won't kill. When they dips, I think are quite limited. It does take things off, but I don't know if they kill acro pests at all.
Well,
depends what dip you use.
But yeah, it definitely depends on what dip you use. And I think
the Coral RX is supposed to be quite a harsh dip, and you wouldn't use that on Goniopora. But there's another one. I was listening to Fang from Global Gardens, and he was talking about Goniopora. He was with the guy from BRS TV, and they were talking about a dip, and I can't remember what the dip was.
You're on about Reef Primer.
That's the one. That's more potassium based.
Yeah,
that's pretty good for Goniopora. Whereas the Coral RX, and they've talked about another chemical that's quite harsh, that is good for acros and stuff like that. So it really depends on the coral, which makes sense, isn't it? We don't treat every coral the same. So, using different dips for different corals makes perfect sense. Although, it's not as if there's a list to say, well, actually, these corals will be better with this dip and these corals with that dip. I don't think anyone's done that. And that would be useful, because at the moment it's almost like you have one dip and it does everything, which is not the case. So I think you have to be really careful. I know we've discussed it a couple of times about chalice, and they can lose their colour quite easily when you dip them. Right. So what's this one? I've been dosing Reef's Elements 2-part, and my part 1 has crystallized. What is the best, safest way to remove from the container?
I had that problem ages ago, and I found it was because it was on a. It sounds a bit silly. It was because it was on a really cold surface.
Oh.
But it might not be anything in it. But yeah, I found it was because it was on a really cold surface that it tended to crystallize.
So, if you heat it up, does that
I don't know. I can't remember what I did, but I just can remember having that issue with reef elements. Yeah. Yeah, and it was part 1, ironically, as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if you warm up the water a little bit, does it then, the chunk of it, does it break it down? Don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the application is. I mean, you could go to the extent of putting in a magnetic stirrer, but that's going to the extreme, really.
Yeah.
I've had quite a lot over the years with dosing. The dosing lines have become, salted up, or they've become crusted.
Yeah.
Just, it's not left the pipe clean enough, and it's just ended up creating a blockage. But again, that's just a bit of husbandry that I think you need to be checking.
Yeah. They say you should pinch the end of the dosing every so often.
Line. Yeah. Dosing
absolutely.
line. Yeah.
Because that otherwise it gets blocked up.
And flush it as well, just when you're calibrating it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a fair point. So I don't know. I mean, I used to have that Red Sea containers that they used to crystallize. It was the alkalinity, and I'm sure I used to put warmer water in it, and it used to dilute it. But I wouldn't say that 100%, but you can try it.
Again, it's been a number of years, but I'm sure from memory, I ended up heating some water in a bucket and just floating it, and it seemed to put it back to normal. But
try that one, maybe.
Try that.
Yeah. I don't think you can do any harm, what he says.
Well, it's not going to do any harm if you're not emptying it now. But
and don't use boiling water.
No.
Just temperature, maybe a tank temperature, 25, 26 degrees. Springer damsels, like those red worms, they certainly do. John, I put in the sum to eat astronomas, but all the astro have gone, so I don't know what's eating them. Let's have a look. I've used a few X, simply does not work.
All right.
Scrub with liquid in, not pour it out. I'm assuming you can't pour it out. There we go. KZ flat, boost acro SPS, I think. I see I read. Yeah, bought a bottle to start dosing. Oh, thank you very much. A 10 quid sticker. Thank you.
Fantastic. Not 5 quid each then.
If you want. Well, you'll get less than that because I will. Because YouTube takes, it's 35% ish.
Shut up.
Really? They do.
Oh my Lord. That's ridiculous.
Wow. God knows how much they take on ad revenue, but you don't kind of tend to see that. God. But thank you anyway. Much appreciated.
No, definitely.
Limpets, maybe. I'm assuming that's to answer your question, John.
Little white things, 2 mil.
Let me go here. If it's pH plus you're using, please wear gloves. Not pH plus, just the standard. All for reef. Might be giving some of it away a little bit later on, actually. Moving to all for reef, just a bit easier to use and easier on the wallet. What I like about all for reef is the fact you dose all the minor elements as well. So it does help, especially if you're well, I think it helps anyway. I think it helps in the coloration of everything. I use Color RX, but not on chalice or gonies. Yep, absolutely. Yes, crystallize when too cool. Store it off the floor. Also, you can thin with RO and use it. Oh, okay. I use from the marine, the dip. I used to fill sink with hot water to melt the part 1 reef's elements. Used to just leave the part 1 in the sink, then mix with RO before putting it. There we go. Absolutely.
My memory still works.
53 watching, only 20 thumbs up. Yes, that would be absolutely fantastic if you can. And I use I must admit, I've been using all for reef for about 3 years now, and I actually got it from being on this channel, where I think it was Julie who used to be on the channel. It was Haley, and there was quite a few people at that time were using all for reef. and I've got to say, it works a treat on the tank that I use it on. I still use 3-part on the other tank, but I think once I've run out of that, I think I'll use all for reef on that as well. Just easy, isn't it? Having one rather than 3. And definitely the powder is a damn sight cheaper than the liquid, like most forms are, to be fair, aren't they? The Red Sea stuff, the powder's a lot cheaper.
You don't go around shouting that out, Paul. Powder's cheaper.
I've been demonetised, and I'm gonna be chucked off. What's he say?
Didn't think you were that type.
No, I'm a druggie though, because I shoot up I shoot up a few times a day. I've just said that I'm going to be demonetised, don't I? Diabetic. I'm out and about. I've got the needles out. Oh,
okay.
Right, we'll stop that one.
Anyway.
Right, flatworm.
Flatworm.
Anything else on flatworm before we move on to another pesty pest? In fact, we'll have a giveaway. We'll have a giveaway in a minute.
No, I think for me with flatworm was just like I said with acro flatworm was just bases off corals and plugs if you can, and just for the egg part, just for the egg cycle really.
Yeah.
This goes back to what I said earlier about nobody has the facility or the privilege of having a QT system. So it's not. Let's be honest, you're not guaranteed to get rid of anything or everything, should I say? It's just you're eliminating the risk, aren't you? The chance. So
yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay. We're going to do a giveaway. So if you can put, because what we're giving away first of all, we've got a bottle of all for reef, the sample bottle. Take my word, it is all for reef because you can't really see it properly. And we've got something. So we gave that away. This is extra ones we had left over from last week, and phosphide, which which is the inorganic phosphate that corals like. So we've got a tub of that. It's not the big tub of the all for reef. It's a small bottle, but hey, still be useful to someone.
Definitely.
And if you can put in the chat all for reef. And I'm going to get the roulette up. A bit of a schoolboy error. I didn't do that. I can't remember. It's Google now. Random. Yeah, I've got to talk and do this. Otherwise, it's going to be silent for a few minutes.
No, fine.
Right.
Christian's in the house. Evening.
Hi, Christian. Hope you well. Right. So we've got all for reef. So I'm just going to start typing this. And you can talk at me if you.
I've got to talk at you. I've got to think of something to say. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
I tell you what, no, there's a question in there that it was, where was it? Biopellets. Where there was one by, that's it, Junior R. Oh, do you know what? Oh, let me put his comment.
Do people still use biopellets, or is it still something better? Crikey. As in nitrate biopellets we're talking about. Nitrate removing biopellets. I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I see them a lot in fresh water. When you go into LFS, and Maidenhead Aquatics use biopellets quite a bit, or use that kind of media.
I used them years ago, but they used to create a really horrible, like slimy mucus on the outside of the reactor. So, and I can't remember the reason why they were deemed as being a no-no, but we stopped using them anyway. So it's not a common thing these days, is it? These days, I've not really heard of people using it.
No, I don't. In fact, it's gone out of fashion completely. I think with those, they were too unpredictable. In as much as you didn't really know how much to use, they would take a long time to kick in, maybe 3-4 months. And then all of a sudden, they would just strip the nitrates out because you've used too much. Now, it could be that I just done it wrong, to be fair. And also, they used.
Don't leave me hanging. Hello, I'm just on my own. You there, Paul? No. Thinking about it. Anyway, it's just me and everybody else. Christian, what advice would you give people in terms of dipping, if you can hear me? So I'm sure you must have seen a few different pests along the way. Yeah, definitely Darren, McDonald's Wi-Fi on my own. And here I am, all on my own. Yeah, come on, Christian. You must have got some advice for people in terms of dipping and stuff. Everyone needs, QT, yeah. Well, I know, Joe. Let's talk about pH. pH is more important to me than beer. Which true. Says that. Oh, Karen says that's not true. It is. It is true. pH. Yes, potassium chloride. Yeah. And it's not expensive to buy either, from what I remember. That told me going back to crystals in dosing liquids, a good move is to put them on the PSUs. Plastic waste. Yeah, agree. Best dip out there and super cheap, £35 for 5 kilogram. Yeah. Yeah. And Christian, for what I know, you can't overdose potassium chloride. If I'm right, would you agree, or would you say you can? And I don't mean putting silly amounts in. I'm talking like, I don't know, say a tablespoon in a litre, something like that. Let me know if you agree. Darren, get the wife on. Tommy's a start. The show must go on. I'm trying. Oh dear. In a dope. Don't know what you mean by that, mate. Who thinks Joshua's going to win tonight, or who thinks Ngannou's going to win? Don't know. I think Joshua might get a shock, but we shall see. Scott, I swear by the Reef's Elements dip, it's awesome. I have heard it's good. I've not tried it yet, because every time I go to buy it, nobody stocks it. So next time I remember, I'm going to get myself some. Oh, hello. Nice of you to join me. I've just come up with the most random conversation for everybody to keep everybody warm, or whatever you want to call it.
He wasn't talking pH, was you?
Oh, tablespoon in a litre, I would say it's pretty strong. It can exfoliate the coral flesh a bit too much. Half a tablespoon. Right, okay. No, fair enough. Cheers, Christian. Joshua will be kissing the canvas. I think there could be an upset. Top shelf uses a tablespoon per gallons. I like the Reef's Elements. Anyway, you with us?
Yeah, I am. I'm just
I know you've been shooting up, haven't you? That's where you went. No, you didn't want to do it on air.
No, I do it all the time. I do it on live. So I have.
Sorry, everybody. What I'm working with.
I know. I'm a druggie. I shouldn't have said that either, should I?
Wow. Okay, you heard it here.
At the moment, I'm trying to run a competition and not get chucked off of YouTube.
Oh dear.
Right. Okay. So we're right. So the competition is closed whilst I let's put closed in. Whilst I try and catch up with who's put all for reef in. This is going to plan as always. I can't look at the comments.
You don't want to look at the comments now.
I'll have a look in a minute.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So one thing that Christian's advising, which I'm just going to go back to the comments, which was really helpful, because when you disappeared, Paul, to do whatever you were going to do, this is something I use. So Christian recommends potassium chloride, and it's the best dip out there. So it's obviously from his experience, and we'd like to think he knows a thing or two in the stick world, especially. Best dip out there, super cheap, £35 for 5 kilograms. Wow. Where do you get it from, Christian? Just if anybody wants to buy it. and he's suggesting, what we're saying, a teaspoon. Sorry, what's this? Hang on, what did he put now? I think he's saying a teaspoon per litre. Yeah. Oh, AMP. Yeah, that's what APC pure. Yeah. So that's worth getting. I think that's what Liam brought me the other day when I ran out of mine. But it makes it really easy. And I mean, I know Christian's saying you can OD it, but a teaspoon in a litre, it's definitely worth having on the shelf. And I'm sure. Are you going to involve yourself at some point, or am I just talking to myself for the rest of the night?
Talk to yourself. A minute. I'm just going through.
All right, clearly.
I'm just making sure I've got everyone right. Okay.
All right, back in the room.
I am back in the room, and I'm now going to do the Wheel of Misfortune. Well, it has been misfortune because it kicked me out.
Half a teaspoon. Sorry, half a tablespoon. Christian, half a tablespoon potassium chloride. Right.
So
did you hear that, Paul? That's quite an important tip from Christian.
I didn't hear it at all. Sorry, I can't do two things.
You're
right. So what was he saying? Right. So
we're saying potassium chloride.
Yeah.
Yeah. From APC Pure.
Yeah.
It's one of the cheapest dips out there, and you want to be using half a tablespoon per litre of water.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Cheers for that, Christian. So.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So we have got, I think, all the names. If you just want to go down, and if I've missed any, then please let me know. So that is everyone. So I'm just going to give it 30 seconds. Yeah, Aquarium, you're there. Just highlighting you there, so I know you're there. I might have spelled it wrong. Right. Okay, I think we are good to go. So this is for the All for Reef. And the winner is... Oh, John, you've missed out.
Again, he missed out.
It's like a repeat of last week. MB Reefing, you have won.
Well done, MB Reefing.
And also the Foss feed. Now, I tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to do the other ones now because I can't go through trying to do another Wheel of Fortune later on. So,
well, I'm just going to go and wash the car, so I'll see you in half an hour.
Yeah, thanks for that. Right, so we're going to do another one. So MB Reefing, I just write that down, otherwise I will forget. That is the All for Reef. So the next one is the NIOS test kit. So this is phosphate, nitrate, alkalinity, magnesium, and calcium. So it's closed, not going to reopen it again. So you have to be in it to win it. So we're spinning it again. So this is from the NIOS test kits. Oh, it is Aqua of the Ian.
Well done. Well done, mate.
NIOS. So if both of you could message me on Instagram, just so I can get your details. And then the last one, just make sure I've got a picture of it. Yeah, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen if I can. So this is one that was not claimed from last week. So here we have Reef Nutrition UK, donated by AAC. So you got the Oyster Feast, the Real Oceanic Eggs, and the Phyto Feast. Feedback, I've never used it before myself, but the feedback I've heard is really good on it from people that have used it. So I'm just going to Stop the screen on that. Bring up the Wheel of Misfortune. Right, we've got that on the screen, I think. And we're off we go for the last one. I didn't take the names out. So if it comes up with aquarium and MB roofing, we dial again. Oh, Chris Allen.
Chris Allen. Well done.
There we go. So you've got the reef nutrition.
Nios. Is it reef nutrition? Sorry.
Reef nutrition. Now you're confusing me.
Doesn't take much to know.
No. Something not with me. Right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Whew, I'm glad that's over. That was more painful than usual. Anyway, congratulations, everyone.
Oh dear.
Seamless. And also, we've done it really early. So people that join late,
well,
snooze you lose.
Snooze you lose.
Yeah.
The regular viewers that have won this time.
Yeah. I mean, actually, to be fair, most of the prizes last week or the giveaways were regulars. But we've got 3 gifts and 3 regulars. I'm chuffed. So congratulations, guys and dolls.
Yes.
Guys, on this basis. So nice one. Right, where was we before I cut myself off? What? The computer crash.
I don't know. We've talked about while you were away. We covered pH. We covered the Anthony Joshua fight tonight. We covered potassium chloride. We covered. So we just all can go on. We just go to the pub. It's fine. Good ta-ra. See you next week.
Right. So did we cover other pests?
No.
No. Right. No. So we've done flatworm, Aptasia, because that's the one I think I see more posts on and more comments than anything else. Our friends, the Aptasia. So do you think dipping your corals kills Aptasia? Because I'm not convinced it does.
I've never tried to do it. I've never dipped corals to get rid of. No, I don't think so. No, it'd have to be be an almighty dip, but it's probably going to kill everything else you're dipping at the same time.
Yeah, because they're not indestructible. They're not far past it, are they? They're once you've got them in your tank, I'm not sure if you can actually eradicate them totally, or whether they'll always be there and you can just manage it. I don't know what people think. Can you actually get rid of Aptasia once and for all? What do you think?
God. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we need to look at these comments, Paul. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. So Christian, bless him, has said, where are we? You'll have to go up. So
have I missed it? So
you have.
Oh, hello.
Hello. He's donating a voucher for us. Yes.
Woo!
Good man.
Right. I better get the Wheel of Fortune back up then. Right. So if you entered the last...
What does everybody want to talk about now for 10 minutes?
Right. So if you put in the comments, signature frags, but if you entered the last one, don't put your name in there because I don't want to retype it out. So if you haven't entered the last competition, put in signature frags.
Can I enter it?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you're going.
No,
you
it's
can.
not fair. No, I'm not. I'm not. Don't be daft. No. Right. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to go back there again one day. So
right.
It's fine.
Okay. So £100 voucher. Fantastic, Christian. Thank you very much, sir. If you enter the last one, you don't need to put in.
Store collection only.
Store collection only. Right. So I know there's some other names in here that I need to get in. So, just talk amongst yourself again.
All right. Okay. Oh, dear.
I tell you what, I thought it was all down to...
I'm bringing in sick next Friday. Right, then. Let me look at these. Some of these comments then. I might have something to talk about. Signature frags.
Right, some people have entered already. They're putting a name in just to confuse me.
They are.
Which tonight is not that difficult.
Fantasia is like Thanos. Yeah. And there are some animals that you can buy, aren't there? Fish and cleanup crew, like we're talking about, that can make life easy, but I don't think they eradicate things these days.
I find with peppermint shrimps, they won't touch the larger ones. They won't go anywhere near the large ones. So what I tend to do is put putty over the larger, and then they'll take care of the smaller ones.
Oh, Liam, if I could have any dream fish in my tank, what would I have? If it wasn't for the fish I'd already got and money was no object, I would definitely say a pair of crosshatch triggers. Definitely.
Have you ever had an Achilles?
No. I've always been put off them because of the people. I mean, I know a couple of people I follow on Insta that have got them and they look awesome. But I don't know. Caribbean blue tang, Christian. I've seen one of them before, I don't think. Caribbean blue tang. Even if you're in Christian, it will cost us a fortune. So much. Well, that's it. He's luring people in it. It's £100 voucher, but you're going to end up doing what I did and spend more.
It's a cunning plan, isn't it? Good one, though.
Yeah, definitely. Really not a trigger fan. Okay. Fish Achilles, yeah.
One more minute, and then I
Black
will
tang.
Close it. See, black tangs. You look at them and I think, doesn't do anything for me. A black tang. I'd rather have a yellow tang than a black. Just the color of it. I
think shoaling fish, if you get the right color combos, are really powerful. I mean, I know I've got a few chromies, but when you see fit tanks that have got like massive amounts of antheas, the pink antheas, they can be quite an impact in your tank. To be fair.
Yeah, there's a guy I know. He had a 12-foot tank, and he had, I don't know how many amphias, and he was buying 30 at a time. So I think he had about 100 amphias in there, and they look absolutely superb.
Yeah,
they really did. And he also had a unicorn tang as well, which was absolutely super.
Right.
I mean, that's a big old fish.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Right, I'm just going through the names of the people that have just put in. And then, so it's closed. No more entries.
Hybrid Achilles, Lee. Wow. Hybrid. That's trigger on my bucket list. Yeah, for me. Yeah. It's just the colour of them. I just think they're unreal. I think they come from, from memory, they come from Hawaii, same as your tangs. So I think that's why it's a no-no from memory. Anyway.
Not sure.
I'm going back some years. They were about $4,500 a pair.
Wow.
God knows what they are these days.
Absolutely.
But anyway, yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to go back down through the names. And if I've missed anyone off, then again, please shout. And then we will make the draw. Thanks to Christian.
Yeah, cheers, Christian. That's
absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant, that, mate. Yeah, that's off to you.
Right, so I'm down at the bottom. Let's just hold on 30 seconds just to see if I've missed anyone. I see Sky Marine, you're too late. I closed it about 7 comments earlier. Right. Have I missed anyone? If not, I'm going to press the button.
Do it. DJ,
right, I'm going to do it now. We're spinning the wheel of fortune. Good luck to everyone.
Oh, everybody's crossing fingers and toes. I can feel it.
Oh, who is it? Techers of the Reef.
Well done.
One-armed reefer. You were so unlucky. Not rubbing it in, but you were so unlucky. Right, Christian, thank you very much.
Yeah,
that finishes the giveaway. Another top giveaway this week. Thank you for all those people that donated. Excellente. Right, we're in the home stretch. 35 minutes.
Counting it down.
Okay, it'll go really quick. Right, let's go back and see what comments I've missed. I'm sure there's loads. Apologies if I've missed your comments earlier on. I'll see if I can go back. Joe, it'll cost us a fortune. Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
Kingfish.
it is.
So Scott's is a black tang. No. Achilles. Yeah. Caribbean blues are lovely. Let's have a look. Purple tang. Have you had a purple? You got a purple tang in yours?
Yeah, I've got a purple and a yellow. Yeah.
What's the purple like? Because people I've known, they can be quite aggressive. I know any fish can be aggressive.
Really, really, really purple.
Aggressive?
No, it's she was in the tank I had her in before. She was pretty much the biggest fish, so she was quite aggressive. If you remember from when I put them in the stages I did, or you probably can't, you've slept since then, but I put the orange shoulder in first, and then she went in. I think she went in sort of group 2 or 3 with the yellow. So it knocked her for 6 in terms of the hierarchy in the tank, and she's never had any issues since. So yeah. I think it depends on the surroundings, doesn't it? The tank and who else is in it and everything else.
Yeah, I think with tangs, the smaller the tank, the more likely you're going to have aggression and everything else, aren't you? They just need their own space and their own territory as well, don't they? I think a lot of rock helps as well, because then they can just hide away and it breaks up the the line of sight, that kind of thing. Yeah. Right, back to Aptasia. So Aptasia on a new tank dealt with straight away can no longer be a problem, but if you ignore it, you will be sorry and about out of control. Absolutely. I think it's like any pests or any problem, really. If you let it drift, then just trying to get on top of it is really, really difficult. And you can say that about cyno or anything.
So about your tank parameters, about anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what else we got. Potter's Angel, lovely fish. I'd like to get into. Yeah. And angelfish. I think a lot of people love to have angelfish, but thinking not sure about that because they do like some corals. Potter's wrasse, red tail wrasse. Yeah.
Good question, Liam. Thanks for digging me out of that.
Well, it's nice to get people to the farm. Yeah, I'd recommend. I mean, you was at Signature Frags the other week, and I was with Jay. That was long ago. That was 18 months. It was quite a while ago. I was there.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place to go to. You picked up quite a few frags, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a few. Yeah, doing all right. Yeah. Some more than others. Yeah, I'm just winding. I'm just curbing it now until I'm happy. I'm confident everything's settled and established. Really, to be fair. So yeah.
Got your first batch in there. See how they go. Sort the diatoms out, and then you go again.
Pretty much, and then we go again.
Yeah, absolutely. Femwrasse.
Yeah.
Black tang. We've got quite a few congratulations to the winners, which is always good to see. So, have I beat dinos? No, it's still there. So it's beginning to go. The sand looks a lot whiter in the picture than it does in person. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a reflection. So it's gradually going, but it's so frustrating because I've got a tank sitting there and I can't add anything else to it. The candy canes are looking a bit rough at the moment, but I'm dosing loads of silicate, which actually some of the corals seem to like. But
really?
I think it's And actually, when I've done some research in silicate, and actually having silicate in a tank is not a bad thing by the looks of it. It's like anything, having too much. But I did an ICP and it's come back as amber on silicates. I want it to be red, which means there's too much.
Right.
Because silicates will drive a diatom bloom, which is obviously you've got. I'll have your diatoms because then that will outcompete the dinos. It's like that kind of thing. We're all trying to compete with one another. So actually, if you've got diatoms, that will take, I suppose, the food, and then they should die off. So I went under the microscope about 2 weeks ago, and there's less dinos in there. So I took about 4 different samples, and there was nowhere. I mean, whether that's a fair reflection. So 4 different samples, and when it's under the microscope, there wasn't as many dinos in the tank as there was before. But it's difficult to tell because I've got dinos, and then I've got cyno in there, and I've got diatoms. So I've got bloody everything at the moment on the sand bed. It's the coral's looking good in the main because that Goniopora is absolutely loving life. It's huge, absolutely huge. My phosphate's 0.3. My nitrates are 35, so I'm trying to keep a lid on that. So it's the parameters in the tank is everything I don't want. It's really, really high. Silicates are really high. Diatoms, I need more diatoms because when you read it, the ones I've got that will kill them. But we'll see. If I can't solve it, probably in about 6 weeks, I'm going to take all the corals out, take the fish out, and go dark. So I'll just go dark for about a month just to kill all of anything that's photosynthetic in the tank. I'll ghost feed it so that the bacteria is still in there, so don't kill the bacteria in the tank, but just take all the lights away. That'll be about 6 weeks. That's a bit. I don't want to do that. I want to see if I can fight it. But I mean, some people do blackouts on dinos. They're doing other things as well, don't they? I don't think it'll work for 3 or 4 days. I think it's going to have to be a sustained period of time. I would see that as defeat, but I suppose I'm not resetting it. You know, the bacteria will stay in there, but so it's just it's probably the hardest thing I've had to deal with in the coming up to 10 years in terms of not being able to deal with it. Really
how long has that tank been running again? Did you say
18 months? So it's quite a while.
It's just not new then, is it? It's not new then.
No, I do wonder whether I had it all along. And I just haven't noticed it. Just there's been hardly any in there. Or they've been on the rocks and I haven't noticed, and all of a sudden, bang, it's gone through the roof. It could have been that. But the weird thing is the sand and the rocks look crap, but the corals look really good. I mean, I got a chalice that nearly died, and it's looking absolutely fantastic at the moment. And also I've got another one that was a rainbow chalice that was major on blue. Now it's proper rainbow colours. Bizarre. This chalice is just morphing its color, and it's a coral that was in another tank for 2 years. It just shows you the parameters and how you change your parameters, the impact it has on different
definitely
in different corals.
Definitely.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm a bit frustrated at the moment, but what can you do? It's not a lot you can do, really. I'm not going to reboot it. If I reboot it, I'll end up closing it down. And I've never had to reboot a tank before, so there's a bit of pride there of not wanting to reboot a tank. There's an interesting comment. I'll come back to this one. Oh, wait, right at the bottom. If you go dark, the dino will go into cysts and come back when the time is right. I have to look into that. That's a fair point, which is obviously something I don't want to do. So have I tried that? What's that? Microbacteria 7. No. So I'm dosing. What am I dosing? I'm dosing Eco. What's it? The Dr. Tim's. I'm dosing Eco Balance. I'm doing Miracle Mud. I'm putting pods in virtually every week. I'm dosing 10 ml of phyto every day. I'm doing silicate. That was doing recommend about 3 drops per day. I'm doing 15 drops a day at the moment. So, and I'm putting the odd Zeo back in as well. So I'm just putting loads of bacteria in. It's improved a little bit.
Are you doing water changes on it as well, or no?
No, you're not supposed to. I had to do a water change about 2 weeks ago because I was a bit concerned it was getting too high nutrients, but which probably didn't help it. But I've tried not to do it. And yeah, silicate is good for sponge growth. Not that I've got much sponge in there, but corals seem to like what I'm doing, but I'm not happy with it. But that's just the way it goes, I suppose. You get these things, and I hadn't noticed it. Right, let's go back up to looking at fish. I have 2 purples and 1 yellow in mine. The only thing my purple tank fights with is reflection, which is a bit special. My purple's good as gold touchwood. My white cheeky gold rim is that. Dear. Yeah, don't mention. I will get another yellow tang, but not until I get a big tank. Off to ocean project Sunday to collect a 12-inch Matatang. Matatang? I've heard of that one, unless that's the wrong spelling.
Yeah, Mantatang.
Is it? Quite a lot of people got purple tangs. I have a purple tang, lovely fish. My boss fish is a regal tang. Yeah, I had a regal tang. It grows so quick. What's this? My purple tang. My purple just ended my gem tang. Oh dear. Purple head. Leonardi Ras. Yeah, you don't see them. They used to be really expensive, the Leonardi, and they used to be known for being jumpers, as most Ras are, and quite difficult to look after. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's right or not. That's what I'd.
Well, I can remember going back to purples. I can remember when purples came into the market, and that was when yellow tangs were £40, you know, and purple tangs were the new designer tang at the time. Before gem tangs, obviously, in Achilles. Yeah.
Well, my yellow tang was 30 quid. That's how long I had it. So yeah, that wasn't that long ago. Mind you, I did have it for about 5 years. So yeah, it just shows you the price, isn't it? As soon as Hawaii closed down, £30 to, well, you couldn't really get them, could you? And then they're 170, 200 quid. And the captive bred ones, look, every one of the captive bred ones, I said, they don't look, they look more white than yellow, don't they? They don't look the real deal, do they?
No, they don't look the same.
Yeah. Comment there. Don't remember people having so many problems years ago when you buy live rock. Yeah, absolutely.
Agree, John.
Yeah. Moorish idol. They look lovely. I don't think I'd have the nerve to have a Moorish idol. Have you had a Moorish idol before, Tom?
I've not. Mr. Gill's aquarium has just found himself one now. A very nice one, apparently. That I can't remember where it's come from, but yeah, he's got a very nice one on its way. So yeah, fingers crossed it does well for him and it acclimatizes into his tank.
Nice.
No, I've never had one. I've always fancied them. I think they're a schooling shoaling fish that I've always thought again looks quite effective together. We'd have to have a big old tank to have, 3, 5, whatever together, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Just the size of them. But they do look good together. Yeah, especially when you watch them on, when you see them on TV or YouTube or whatever, they look good. Definitely.
Yeah, when you've got a massive group of them and they're just
they look good
above the reef and that.
Reef, they look good.
Yeah. Lovely comment there from Aquarium. And actually, Ian was there when I was up there. So you're the nicest fella that ever lived in a big blue room for most of his week. Top man in the finest coral shop in the business. Very nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Reboot it to a 6-foot pool. I'm sure Jill will be fine with it. Yeah, she would be, for sure.
Yeah, you could do that. You could fill it with loads of live rock and then you won't have the problem.
I could do. I will get another bigger tank one day, just not today. Although if this doesn't go, then who knows? You never know. Right, where are we? What else have we got? We can meta tank pool and do Google search. Let's have a look.
I was just looking there. I've not heard of a meta tank before. No.
Meta tank. Right.
Very nice.
Right, let's share screen.
It's that first picture anyway.
Right.
Colours, aren't there? A few different combinations there. I don't know which one it is, Lee, you're getting, but yeah, nice.
So that's nice.
Nice patterns on that.
Yeah.
Nice colours, nice pigments.
That's nice, isn't it? Good choice. Not one that you hear of.
No, I've not heard of it. I've not heard of it before. I've not heard of that before. No.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice skills. Right, so we've covered Aptasia. What about vermitid snails? Do you consider them a pest?
I've never really had any. I'll be honest with you, I've never really had an issue with them. I think pests for me have been things like, other than what I've talked about, I had like invasive corals like go on, what do you call it now? Like purple clove, not purple clove polyp. Yeah,
Xenia. GSP.
No, yeah, Xenia. I've had issues with Xenia, but again, you can put Xenia in your sump and you can utilise it that way. I've not really had vermices snails. No, no, I've not really had many issues with that personally. I think the only other pest, I think the only pest that the common one that we talked about already is Aptasia. You know, but back in the day, you used to put a syringe into it. You used to have to wait till it to open wide and put your hand in and put a syringe into its mouth. That's what you used to do, you know.
For the Aptasia.
Aptasia X or whatever you call it, now.
And if you get it wrong,
Joe's juice, whatever else.
Yeah, and if you get it wrong, then the spores will take over, so it can be counterproductive.
Yeah.
The only problem I found with Aptasia, if they grow in the middle of zoas, because then they do tend to agitate zoas and kill them. That's the only time I really had a problem. Other than they look ugly and you don't want them to spread. That's the only coral that they've killed for me before.
One pest that I have had an issue with, and this was before I started dipping potassium chloride a couple of years ago, was when I with acros was getting a lot of nuisance crabs in them. So like teddy bear crabs, gorilla crabs. The problem is with a lot of the crabs is that everybody wants the acro crabs because they look nice, and obviously you can tell the difference because they have smoother skin, smoother legs, not hairs, etc. But I've had issues where I've had I've not had crabs, for the record. Knew I was going there. I had to be careful.
You paused and you're thinking, how do I say this without saying it?
How do I say this? That have become quite destructive in terms of eating colonies from the inside out in terms of acros. So I think there's lots of, but I also think that it's what makes this hobby kind of a bit weird and wonderful. Some of the things that are out there, without sounding weird, I just think it's
it's not a dull moment.
Part of it, isn't it? Not a dull moment. No. I had a red digi that I grew years ago. It was absolutely huge. You're proud enjoying. I think it was the first or second tank I had, and I kept wanting to know why the tips were they literally look like they've been cut with a laser. And everybody's saying, "Oh, I went on Ultimate Reef. I'm going back a long time. I went on Ultimate Reef, and people saying, oh, it's mag burn and this, that, and the other, and test this, test that." Test on parameters, everything was fine. Went into the kitchen. The tank was next to the kitchen at the time. Opened the fridge and light was on the tank, and I looked in it and saw something move, and I wondered what it was, and it was a crab. And I'm not going to lie, it was at least the size of a, I don't know what we refer it to, but it was big, and it was just sat there, just literally at the top of the coral, just literally just eating polyps off. Wasn't bothered in the slightest, and the point I'm making is that they come in and you can probably, to the human eye, you don't see them, the microscopic, tiny, little dots or whatever on a coral or a colony or whatever you're buying, and a year or whatever down the line, you've unfortunately you find out you've got crabs.
Absolutely. So when I've got
nothing worse to find out.
No,
anyway,
I would admit. So on my very first tank, which actually was live rock, there was a small crab in there, and it was eating corals. So I used to stand there at night when the lights were out with a red torch for it to come out, and eventually I caught it. But it must have been taunting me for about a good 2 or 3 months, because every time you get it and you was too slow, it would pop down into the hole. And then I thought, I'll tell you what I do, I'll putty this hole over. And of course, it's live rock, so of course there's holes for the other side, so then it pop up somewhere else. So that wasn't that was a lesson learned. So I suppose that's the downside of live rock, isn't it? That you don't know what you're gonna bring in. So whilst you don't have, the problems were probably different. So you would have had Aptasia you would bring into it. There would be all kinds of weird and wonderful different creatures, good and bad and indifferent, that it would bring in. So there is downsides to having live rock, but I think the upsides outweigh the downsides. Reflecting upon it, when I looked at my first 2 tanks, when I had live rocks, and despite having those nasties and pests and stuff like that, that is easier than dealing with dead rock and dead sand, I think, anyway. In hindsight,
definitely.
having both. Right, let's go through some comments. Well, wait, Pest, my grandson. Well, wait, my parents. There we go. With the vermitid, they do send out mucus webs. What happens is, usually when you feed the tank, they then to put the webs out, I suppose, to catch the food. But yeah, it can look a bit unsightly, and it can irritate corals. Fair one on that one, Hayley. Well, we've got some more eldest daughter, Bucus, and the grandson. What else we got? Calquas and my go-to for Actasia works great. Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah. Been dosing coral snow and have about 20 bumblebee snails. Seen a reduction in vermitid snails. How long have you been dosing coral snow? Because I've heard you have to dose that for quite a while, because it takes a while to bung the ends up, shall we say, on them. But yeah, I've heard that.
I dose mine twice. I dose it twice a week, but I try and do it when I've done a water change or I've disrupted anything. Just that obviously helps bind any particulates that are floating around.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Cottage Reef has joined. I was late to the live as I was taxi driver for her night out. And boost your pH, Alex. Not too sure what that relates to.
It was on about calc.
Calc. Sorry, yes, sorry, of course it does.
Come on.
Oh, no, I'm not very good on pH.
You'll never get in our club, Paul, with these answers tonight.
Gonna... Is Jay in the club? He can't be, can he?
Jay's in the Jay is in the groovy gang, like on Rodney Trotter, if anybody can remember that one.
Do you know what? It'll be messaging and say, Tom, can I join the gang before Paul does?
Jay's the only bloke I know that gets in an hot tub with armbands on. Anyway, bless you. Love you, Jay.
Yeah.
Respect, brother.
He'll put that on an Instagram post, won't he?
Probably.
Oh dear, right. Leonardo, there you go. My Leonardi eats small vermitids. Nice one. Oh, there we go. Look, the pH fans for the win. Right. Anything else on pests? Because we've dipped out and in and out of it all night. What about the old astrenas?
Yeah.
The starfish.
Yeah. I think, are they a pest? I don't know.
Well, some people say they've seen them eat things like zoas, and then said, "Well, you got different coloured ones, and some eat them and some don't." I don't know. I don't know the answer on that. I've got them in one of the tank, and
I think they can be. I think they can be more of an irritant than anything else, and that's probably more to the hobbyist than the actual anything else in the tank. But I think pests for me, we've already talked about. Really, I think the biggest ones are going to be, like you've already talked about, flatworm, red bugs. I mean, yeah, they can be a pain in the ass. I agree, but they're a lot easier to deal with. You just manually remove them, can't you? You know, I wish it was easier said with all the other pests, really.
And if you keep them under control, then it's fine. You see some tanks and the whole glass is covered in them, and you think that hasn't happened overnight.
No, of course
it takes a while for them to get like that. And I was about to say, tidal gardens, and I've heard other people say that they're a good cleanup crew.
Cleanup crew.
Never thought them as a cleanup crew, but I suppose.
Well,
I suppose so.
Yeah, but I couldn't comment. Couldn't comment on that one.
Yeah.
Must be something in it. There must be something in it though. It's worth looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Reef's Elements Blizzard has helped with vermitids in my tank. Liking that logo as well. Nice one. Binds Foss 2.
Triple nip, it does, yeah.
I like the idea.
Alex is in the PH gang as well, Paul, just in case you didn't know.
I guess. Never bothered me until I watched them eating my zoas, hence my harlequin shrimp. There we go.
Really? I never know they did. Right, okay.
I've never seen that, but then quite often they come out at night, don't they? Because quite often in the morning you find if you've got them, they're easy to take out because they'll be on the glass. Whereas the lights come on, they tend to hide.
Yeah.
There we go. Seen ages ago, inappropriate reefer put his harlequin shrimp in the sump and his starfish hit the glass and he popped them in the sump and just repeated.
Yeah.
There we go. You watch them. The ones in my tank were all white with grey patches. Few zoas in they change colour.
Right, okay.
There we go. With hatchery, there's a few different types. 3 or 4 are fine and don't bother anything and they work well as clean-up. But the one types like zoas to be hard to tell which ones are until it kills.
Right.
I'm not until too late. Yeah, I tell you what, harlequin shrimps, it's just a shame they don't eat. If they ate other things, I reckon more people would have harlequin shrimps because they're just beautiful. They're such a lovely shrimp to have, but you can't keep them alive.
No. I mean, people used to get starfish, didn't they? Cut the legs off and feed them to keep them going. That's what people used to do.
Yeah, I've seen people do that as well. Not too. I don't know. I've got a
bit cannibalistic on if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, you can say it's human nature, but I don't know. We feed live food. I mean, you look at some of the predator tanks when you feed live food.
Yeah, so I'm getting my dress on, I'm afraid, when I see things like that, because I'm not down for watching people. I saw somebody the other day pouring like live frogs into like this sort of predator tank, and I'm filming it. I'm just like, why do you get a kick out of that? But each to their own.
It's a bit like the frogfish, isn't it? Those ones, frogfish.
Hogfish.
Yeah, they're ones, but predator fish, where again they feed river shrimp and all kind of things.
River shrimp, yeah.
To them. Is that any different? I don't know. Don't know. There are hundreds of varieties of astrina, some with everything. Too many can be problematic. Yeah. pH Patrol. I'm soft.
Come on, Alex, you need to come up with a better name than that. pH. Do you want to join our group, pH Patrol? Come on, Alex. Come on.
Like
you're gonna go get a badge. Come on. Wow. I'll acknowledge in his comment, but I'm gonna message you in a minute saying that was poor. Come on, you could think of something better than that.
Cool,
he runs the SPS tank. He runs the SPS tank in my local LFS, so he should be able to come up with more than that. Anyway, just saying.
And you've got a bit pointy as well.
Yeah, pH Patrol.
Thanks for the comment, Alex. I bet you wishes he didn't comment tonight now. Nice one. What's it say? Name and shame. Name and shame.
pH Patrol. Wow.
Dear. You eat meat. You can't wimp out on other creatures eating. That's a fair comment.
Oh, I'm not wimping out, Ailey. I'm just saying you don't need to watch it, do you? You don't need to see somebody kill the cow that you eat the burger of, is all I'm saying.
Well, that's a fair comment. We're on farming now.
So we had to get there, didn't we? Only 1 hour 54 minutes. Yeah.
A bit slow on the uptake tonight, more than one occasion. There we go. Team pH and laser explosion.
I could just that's the kind of sticker that you'd expecting somebody's back car window, wouldn't you? Team laser pH explosion. Sounds like a rave group. Yeah. Anyway.
Survival.
Oh God.
It is of the fittest. Oh dear. Right, I think we've actually squeezed the life out of pests, haven't we, tonight?
We've tried. We sat me on for half at feed.
Where's my violin?
Well, you'll be spinning a wheel and shooting up and whatever else you've been doing, blaming your internet.
It's been a traumatic evening.
You need to go and see somebody, Paul.
I do. Go on the couch and afterwards.
Oh dear.
Right. So, are there any pests we've forgotten?
Well, there's the spiders, isn't there? But I've never heard the spiders. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, help me out. You know, sea spiders. You're getting like zoas and I can't remember what they are now. I'm sure there's definitely spiders.
Eating sea spider.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. There's definitely a spider in the pest category that I've never. Right. There is 100%. There is. Well, I didn't say it was sorry. I know I did, but I'm again from memory.
Actually, you know what? You're actually bang on. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's share.
It's good to know there's still something inside this empty box up here.
I know, rattling around. There we go.
Sea spiders,
common predators, and zoas.
Yeah.
They may be hard to spot, some being as small as 0.04 of an inch in diameter. Wow. There we go.
Learn something new every day, Paul.
You do. I'll be looking out for the spiders now. They're not truly spiders. They're frustrations, but can't remember. Okay. Can't bear spiders. Getting them sucked up in the Hoover. Oh, out the tank. There we go. I used to work on a chicken farm. Love roast chicken.
Oh dear.
Well,
So we descend. As per usual. Okay.
Oh, dearie me.
Okay.
Right, let's see if I've missed any comments.
We're going to ask everybody what they would like to have the topic of next week's stream while we've got whatever minutes left.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up.
Well, you know it's going to be, don't you? I'm not going to say it.
I hope it's not. What was it? I need to find that comment, Lee, that you put. That was quite impressive. That. Where is he?
What one is it?
Team pH laser explosion.
Oh, do you like that one?
Well, he's put more thought and effort into it other than what Alex did with pH Patrol.
That's just like a TV program, kids' TV, isn't it?
Blokes walking around tanks with the walkie-talkies going, "This pH is only 8.1 over." Roger that. This pH is 8.2.
Like on the radio, CB.
CB radio. Yeah.
What's your handle?
pH Patrol, over.
TB calls.
TV calls, coming, TV calls.
pH is dived.
This pH is dying. What's that pH Patrol? This pH is dying. Quick, send the calculator. Sorry, everybody. Apologise.
Right. So we haven't got any subjects for next week.
No.
Dear me. Right. So when are we getting your? I can't forget. When are we getting your channel? Because when your channel goes live, we can then do a live stream.
The last minute. We're open next. I'm open next week. So cool. Yes, I've got 8 people that I'm going to be talking with. I've just got to film it really and edit it and upload it. So I'm hoping we can start next week. Yes.
Nice.
It's in the making. Definitely in the making, mate.
Cool. Right. I'm not too sure whose stream we're on next week, but thank you everyone for watching. It's been eventful. Yeah, absolutely. Gave away some giveaways, which is always good. Apologies, my computer crashed. The last comment. There we go. I knew there'd be one. Joe didn't disappoint. You need some pH Patrol t-shirts. Oh no, I don't think so. Right, I think we are done. And on that note, thank you, Tom, for joining us this week.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. It's been a blast as always, and hopefully we'll we'll see you all next week if you can come back.
See you next week. Yes, please come
Bye
back.
for now. Yeah, and don't forget, love to reef tickets.
Yes.